Hello, hello. Happy weekend. I hope you guys can see me and hear me. I know I'm lagging a little bit, but I think it's just because I just started StreamYard. Hello. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello, my babelets. I appreciate you guys for being here. Happy Saturday. I'm sorry that I wasn't live today. I had some family stuff to deal with, but don't worry. I'm here for 2 lives and then we have tomorrow. So I do plan to go a little heavier on the lives tomorrow. So welcome. Hi. I'm Melly. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, please hit the like button, subscribe button, do all the YouTube thingies. Even if you're not here, do those things, please. Also, hype, 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 hype. We have an update. I know I probably am a little late compared to everyone else, but the Ohio case, the Tepe case, Tepe case, Spencer and Monique Tepe, I believe I'm saying that right. The ex-husband has been arrested. So crazy, right? We all had there is a live that I did prior to this, and we all agreed that we thought it was somebody personal. And it did. It ended up being her ex-husband. So crazy, crazy, crazy. Hello, hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Let me say hi to everyone. I saw Debbie Asain, Abelitas. I saw Alicia. I saw hello. Hello, hello, Tippy. And then I just seen Boppin, Robin, and Tracy. Hello, Augie. Hi, my beautiful Augie. Fighter Girl. Hello, hello. Ramon says, "Hey, Melly, you're good. Last night was a cool hangout." Yes, 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 yes. I had a lot of fun last night too. So definitely, maybe tomorrow I'll do that again. Not not as wild, but I mean, it wasn't wild, but we were up for a couple hours listening to music and stuff. So if you're into those kind of lives, definitely tune in. I keep wanting to bring them over to the second channel. So definitely subscribe to the second channel as well. It's called Brains and Bad Decisions, all one word. So you can just search that. But I'll drop the link in a second. So let's just get started on this update. I wanted to, hey, beautiful Shay, good to see you. Hello, hello. Hey, young 916, good to see you. I hope you're all doing well. Happy weekend. Okay, so I have I guess it's the probable cause. Yeah, affidavit and support probable. It's just 2 pages. It's really short. So I was thinking we could go through that. I did get that from a source and I'll link them down below. And then I want to read one article, and then I wanted to read the Law and Crime already did like a little segment on it. So I was thinking we can watch that as well. RIP to both of these beautiful humans that lost their life to the hands of her ex-husband, which is wild. It blows my mind. I'm not naive, but I'm just like, once you know his past and who he is, it's like, wow, you really picked prison over this, it's pretty wild. But like I said, please hit the like button. Okay, let's look at this. This is the affidavit in support of probable cause. The first page, it's just one page, but this part right here, I wanted to point out scorned ex. Yeah. They did a good job in this detective work, I must say. The offense time. There's not really much on this, but it says charges murder. And then right here it says on December 30th at 3:52 a.m. So this offense time right here, that's what time they believe he shot them. And that's wild because, hey, Yassine, good to see you. Scorned ex, exactly. They have like a legitimate like time here. So I'm wondering, did someone hear gunshots and they just investigated, something like that? Thank you, Augie, for dropping the link to the second channel. Um, so someone must have heard something or known something, or I know that they were saying, I think somebody said they traced his car, but I don't know. We'll read through that because I wasn't sure about that, but that also wouldn't surprise me. Let's move on to the next page. So it says, Russ Weiner, do hereby swear. Okay. I have a knowledge that these statements are true. Okay, so here it says it's a little blurry, but that's how I was able to get it from Law and Crime, I believe it was. Imagine if they really wrote murder. So was the CC video of him? Yes. I know, I know, I know, I know. It's absolutely insane. I mean, we all kind of thought it was someone, well, I said I thought it was someone in the family, Um, I just really want to know more, you know? So it says on December 30th of 2025 at 9:57 a.m., Columbus Police Patrol officers were dispatched to 1411th North 4th Street on a check on the well-being of Dr. Spencer Tepe, who had not shown up for work. Officers arrived and found Dr. Tepe and his wife Monique deceased inside, suffering from gunshot wounds. Two minor children were found inside the home unharmed. Columbus Fire Medic number 7 responded and pronounced both victims deceased at 10:11 a.m. Columbus Police Homicide Unit 2 team was advised, responded, and initiated an investigation. During the subsequent investigation, detectives were able to identify a suspect through neighborhood video surveillance. The suspect was tracked to a vehicle which arrived just prior to the homicide and left shortly after the homicides. Detectives were able to identify this vehicle further and link it to Michael McKee. Detectives located the vehicle in Rockford, Illinois, and found evidence of McKee in possession of the vehicle prior to and after the homicides. Wow. Um, Crazy because, when we think about the kids as well, we all agreed that, it could have been had to have been someone that was familiar with the family because the dogs didn't bark and the kids were spared. And that's also a very interesting psychology, something to ponder on, I guess, like how he went in there and shot these two people, but, didn't do anything to the kids, which is good, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. Um, so RIP. Not gonna lie, I've been side-eyeing every dude wearing, yeah, a hoodie. I believe it because you're all the locals, right? Um, and hello, creep babes. His jawline is creepy. I'm shook. I'm shooketh. We're shooketh. I want to know how he got inside. He had to have had a key. Because again, there was a dog, and I don't believe there was, well, we wouldn't know, I guess, because the people are deceased. But I also wonder what the kids saw and if they saw something and if that helped in the investigation. Let me share this other article I want to read through, and then we'll watch the little clip. It's not too much information out yet, and that's all the docs we have. So um they had a keypad lock. Oh, so he maybe had the code. That makes sense. That makes sense. Um, hey Alex, good to see you. Okay, let's see. Columbus Dispatch, it says Michael David McKee, the ex-husband of Monique Tepe, has been charged with 2 counts of murder in the deaths of Monique and her husband Spencer. The couple was found shot to death in their Winland Park home on December 30th, leaving behind 2 young children. Police identified McKee as a suspect after tracking a vehicle seen near the home around the time of the unalivings. McKee was a vascular surgeon. So smart, but clearly not, right? I mean, the rage and him not wanting to see her happy or move on, it's like, wow. It's like Kenzie Sherla all over again, didn't want Dom to be with anybody else. He's a vascular surgeon, was married to Monique Tepe from 2015 to 2017, and is currently being held in Illinois, awaiting extradition to Ohio. The ex-husband of Monique has been charged with 2 counts of murder in connection with her death and that of her husband. Michael David McKee, 39, of Chicago, is being held by the Winnebago County Sheriff's Office. Franklin County court records show Columbus police filed an arrest warrant January 10th, literally today, for McKee, and he was booked into the corrections first facility shortly before noon local time the same day. He's scheduled for a hearing on January 12th, so Monday. Definitely going to watch that. Likely an extradition hearing to start the process of his return to Ohio to face charges. Monique, 39, and Spencer, 37, died on December 30th after being shot, found inside their home on the 14 block, et cetera, in their Winland Park home. The couple died less than 3 weeks after their fifth wedding anniversary and shared two young children, both of whom were found physically unharmed inside the home. Here's what we know about McKee. How did Columbus police identify Michael McKee as a suspect? According to court documents, Columbus police identified a vehicle that had been in the area of the Tepe home shortly before the couple is believed to have been unalived and shortly after. Court records say detectives tracked that vehicle down, locating it in Rockford, Illinois, and identified McKee as the owner. On January 5th, police released security camera footage from an alley near the Tepe home showing a person walking during 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., which we know happened at 3:52 a.m. There did not appear to be any signs of forced entry and no obvious signs of a robbery, according to information provided publicly by authorities. Who is Michael David McKee? His medical licensure database shows McKee went to medical school at Ohio State University. He has active licenses as a vascular surgeon in Illinois and California. He had a license in Nevada, which lapsed in mid of 2025. Clark County court records show McKee is one of several doctors who were named in an ongoing personal injury lawsuit. That's intense. McKee's medical license shows no disciplinary history in any of the states where he has a practice. McKee has no discernible criminal record outside of traffic tickets. At one time, McKee had a hunting license in Ohio, but it is unclear if that license remains valid or active. McKee and Monique, who was Monique Sabatersky at the time, married in August of 2015. Monique filed for divorce in May of 2017. So they didn't even make it like 2 years, barely. Wow. I know they had a speedy divorce as well. So, clearly she probably wanted out. According to court records, McKee was listed as living in Virginia at the time when he appears to have been attending a surgical residency program. Court records show the couple was separated at the time of the divorce, which was finalized about a month later. There's no indication in court records that there was any animosity between the couple. They did not share any children. The docket for the divorce filing lists a mutual restraining order. This is standard in divorce cases and prevents either party from accessing assets or bank accounts without going through court processes while the divorce is pending. Publicly available information shows McKee has family members in the Zanesville area. He attended Ohio University for the undergraduate and medical school. McKee played softball at Zanesville Bishop Rosecrans High School, where Ohio High School Athletic Association records show he earned honorable mention, all state honors in senior season. He's listed as having received several academic honors during his high school career. McKee will continue to be held in Illinois until he's extradited to Ohio. Once he's brought back to Ohio, he will have a hearing in Franklin County to have a bond set. The case will then be reviewed by a grand jury for potential indictment and additional charges. Wild. So wild. How does a person carry rage like that for years? I mean, he had some inner self issues or something, death, personal hate, jealous, crime. I know. The Ohio State. Oh, okay. There are studies on higher IQ people and confirmation bias. People with higher IQs make excuses too. Why so much rage? They've been divorced. That's my question. That's really what I'm interested as well. Like that's a lot of time to be, stewing on that and feeling that rage. And if clearly he had a problem with it, right? I'm just wondering if there was like some form of communication. Like, what don't we know? I know from what I've heard is he didn't want out of the relationship. Yeah, I wanna know what was up with the other girl in the 911 call. I wanna pull that right now, so maybe while we're watching the long crime, I'll pull it. I don't think I played that most recent one. Imagine being around an arrogant doctor in prison. Imagine being a doctor and doing that, like, making good money, educated, motive money, land, debt. I believe they didn't have any assets together, so was he pissed she had kids? Maybe, because I know I heard, on a different channel that I allegedly McKee wanted to have kids with her. Jealousy is something else. Yep. Get well. We def feel same on lots of things. Yeah. Is her ex still a doctor? Well, yeah, I believe he is. Let's watch this law and crime segment. I don't know if you guys have already watched it today. It blows my mind. Crimes of passion. Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. A crime of passion. 8 years later? Interesting. And then he kills 2 people, but not the children. Not that I have to reiterate that it's not what I was hoping for, but, like, if he was just raging and a psycho killer, it's like, wouldn't he have just taken them all out? Which I'm glad he didn't. So glad. But then, now they have to live without their parents, and I'm just like, oh, I feel for those kids." Okay, let's watch this. It should be good. Just dropped a couple hours ago on Law and Crime. RIP to them. It's a terrible, terrible thing. Guess choose wisely. I'm picking your part.
Columbus, Ohio.
He probably didn't have signs of a murder. Like, how was she supposed to know? Hi, Triple P. Good to see you, love. When a narcissist is obsessed with you, they will stop at nothing to achieve their goal. 8 years? Jeez. Hey, Patty. And the irony of them having a golden doodle. He wanted to have a golden doodle with her. Okay, let's watch this.
Charges filed in the murders of Spencer and Monique Tepe on the eve of their funerals. Monique Tepe's ex-husband is in custody for the murders. I have the details. Welcome to this breaking edition of Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. The murders of Spencer Tepe and his beautiful wife, Monique Tepe, shattered their families. The parents of 2 young children, ages 1 and 4, were shot to death in their home in a downtown Columbus neighborhood in the middle of the night as those little children slept. It happened in the early morning hours of December 30th, police say, between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. The story sent shockwaves across the state of Ohio and the country. A dentist and his stay-at-home wife murdered, likely in their sleep, found shot to death in their bedroom. Now, more than a week after the murders, Monique Tepe's ex-husband is in custody. Dr. Michael McKee is a vascular surgeon, and he was married to Monique for a short time in 2015, and they divorced using a private judge. But it's my understanding that Michael McKee didn't want to let go, despite the marriage lasting just a short time. The affidavit in support of the murder charges states, on December 30th, 2025 at 9:57 a.m., Columbus patrol officers were dispatched to on a check on the well-being of a Dr. Spencer Tepe, who had not shown up to work. Officers arrived and found Dr. Tepe and his wife, Monique Tepe, deceased inside, suffering from gunshot wounds. 2 minor children were found inside the home unharmed. Columbus Fire Medic number 7 responded and pronounced both victims deceased at 10:11 a.m. Columbus Police Homicide Unit Team 2 was advised, responded, and initiated an investigation. During the subsequent investigation, detectives were able to identify a suspect through neighborhood video surveillance. The suspect was tracked to a vehicle which arrived just prior to the homicides and left shortly after the homicides. Detectives were able to identify this vehicle further and link it to Michael McKee. Detectives located the vehicle in Rockford, Illinois, and found evidence of McKee in possession of the vehicle prior to and after the homicides. Now take a look at this surveillance video. Columbus police put this out earlier this week, asking for anybody who recognized the person in this video to call them. It's very...
Yeah, you guys are saying a lot of good things. Narcissist. What was that quote? Will wait a lifetime if they have to. I agree. And then I'm not going to lie. At first, I was thinking I was a close friend or an acquaintance, not ex. I definitely thought it was someone close to them. I feel bad because I was like thinking maybe like a coworker. Shout out to the coworkers. Didn't mean to make them sound like it was them, but I figured someone super close to them. Did the ex-husband yeah, it crossed my mind, I won't lie, but I figured maybe they would have already, like, looked into him? I don't know.
Likely that Columbus police believe the man walking down the street in an alleyway in the area of the Tepe home, that they believe that this is Michael McKee. Michael McKee right now is in custody in a jail in Rockford, Illinois. It's the Winnebago County Jail. He will have to be extradited here to Ohio to face these murder charges. It's an absolutely heartbreaking case. The young children of Monique and Spencer Tepe, they were crying when friends of the couple were at the home. They arrived to check on this young, beautiful couple, wondering where they were after Spencer Tepe did not show up for work. And they made this gruesome discovery that they had been murdered. The Tepes will be laid to rest on Sunday. And so Law and Crime will continue to follow this case and bring you any new information as the case unfolds.
All right, let's get to the latest on this case that we've been following closely out of Ohio, the murders of Spencer Tepe and his wife, Monique Tepe. Now, when it comes to how much information police give out to the public during an investigation like this, especially an investigation as public as this one is making national news. You really can only speculate with what the PR strategy is for police, why they're giving out certain pieces of information, why they aren't answering certain questions from journalists. Of course, the biggest question is, how close are they to catching a killer? It appears at this point only those on the inside, the people in the department, know the answer to that question. Now, this is the new body cam video that the city of Columbus just sent to us here at Law and Crime, and it shows the officer who was dispatched to make a welfare check at Spencer Tepe's home after he didn't show up for work at his dental office. And that officer, he did check out the property. He knocks on the door, didn't see anything left. The only issue is, according to the chief of police, he went to the wrong address. This was at roughly 9:30 in the morning, about 20 to 30 minutes after the first phone call was made by Spencer Tepe's boss.
The officer went to the wrong address? I mean, sheesh, they're human too, but come on now. You're the police. I give kudos to his coworkers to call when they did. Yeah, your coworkers know more than the family. I call my coworkers my second family. Hey, Lakeside, good to see you. Hey, Tiff. This cop and the whistling and the singing. Oh, can you imagine the kids? They probably heard. I wonder what they heard. Obviously, they heard gunshots, and I wonder, what they seen and how much they understand. One of them is 4, so and one of them is 1. How sad. They won't have their mom. Yeah, thank God the policeman didn't forget his trousers at home. Wrong address? I know. That lady was like, "We already been there, blah, blah, blah." Yeah, he went to the wrong house. Sheesh.
Saying that something just didn't feel right because he didn't show up for work. It would be roughly another half hour until a 911 caller then discovers what he says is Spencer Tepe's body in the home of the couple on December 30th. More than a week into trying to find the person who killed Spencer and Monique in their home while their kids were there on December 30th, a lot of it is still a mystery. But the Columbus police chief did make some public comments, and from what we heard, she didn't directly say whether the public is still at risk. Now, what might that tell us about where police are in this investigation? We're going to talk about that, and we'll talk about what the chief reportedly said about the voice you hear in this call.
Hello?
Hi, this is 911. We just got a hang-up call. Is everything okay?
Oh, this is the call that I didn't play, guys. Just, I know the first part I played the 3 calls or whatever Grizzly had, and then this is the one that I was missing. And this is freaky call.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm okay. Sorry.
Okay, well, it sounds like you're crying. Do you need police, paramedics, or anything?
No, I'm okay. I promise. I'm just emotional.
So that was a 911 call that was first obtained by Fox News Digital, and it claimed that this call was made in April at 2:45 in the morning on a Tuesday. from the Tepe's address. Now, it is a woman who said that she had a disagreement with, quote, her man.
Okay. I don't mean
Okay.
nothing.
Well, can I ask what had you call 911 in the first place? Like, were you having an argument with
Me and my
somebody?
man got into it, but I'm okay, I promise.
Did anything ever get physical?
No.
You guys were just arguing, nobody hit each other?
Yes.
Okay. All right, man. Well, I have the information here. I can go ahead and tell the officers to cancel hitting over to your address there.
Yes.
If
Yes,
anything changes,
I'm sorry.
call us back.
Okay.
So the chief confirmed.
I know somebody said that wasn't Monique. Yeah, Melly asked.
To local media outlets what Spencer's brother-in-law told us here at Law and Crime this week, and that is the female voice you hear on that call, that is not Monique Tepe's voice. But the chief is also telling local media outlets a little bit more context as to where that call may have been coming from and whether this call could be important to the investigation. Now, the biggest piece of information that we do have at this point when it comes to this investigation and what's been given out to the public by police, it's this video. It's the person of interest walking down an alley behind Spencer and Monique's home in the early hours of December 30th. Police are continuing to call out to the public to see if anyone has more video from a time frame of between 2 and 5 o'clock in the morning on December 30th. That is believed to be the time that police think that Spencer and Monique were killed. Now, you can
If that wasn't Monique, who could that have been? A sitter, maybe?
see in the video that they have put out, even though it's grainy, there could be some clues to take away, because you see that this person, it appears to be a male. They're wearing gray pants, black shoes, a black coat, and they're walking down this alley in the middle of the night. This is a Tuesday morning this happened. Temperatures were in the 20s. This was the day before New Year's Eve. Now you can see that this person of interest, they're not looking at the camera, and maybe that's on purpose. This alleyway is one that you can drive down. It gives access to the detached garages behind the townhomes where Spencer and Monique lived. And this is a drone shot from the Tepe's wedding video. It was shot by Spencer's brother-in-law, and you can see the back alley and these fairly new looking townhomes all in a row. And again, the Tepe's lived in one of those homes. Now, the person of interest, they keep their head down. They don't look up. It's unclear if they know that there are cameras in the back of these homes or maybe on garages as they walk down the street. You do see that in that person of interest video. It's a Nest camera. So this isn't like an official police camera that's out there, but the type of thing that somebody puts on the back of their home if they're maybe concerned about someone trying to break into their garage or someone going through their trash. Now, this person of interest also, they have some mannerisms that you hope that someone watching this video would notice. It looks like they might be pigeon-toed. Police are emphasizing that, again, this is a person of interest. They don't know if this is the killer, if this is the person that they're looking for. The police chief did tell local media that this is really just a person who is in the area at the time where they are really focusing their investigation. This person may just be a person walking down the street after maybe spending time at a bar that closed late on a week where a lot of people were off work because of the holidays. We don't know, but you do consider the circumstances. This is suspicious. And also, we haven't heard if anyone has seen this video. Maybe they recognize that it is them walking down the alley. Maybe they were heading home from a bar or something like that. And yet
I did read, I did actually watch another video. I think it was by Court TV that said that this domestic dispute call was a Tepe guest. That's what I saw. I think, hey, Maybeth, good to see you. And this is him heading into the house. Wow. He thought he was being smart and parking streets over and walking to the house. I know, and he's a doctor. Exactly.
Days after this video, which is being plastered on the news and on the internet, no one's come forward saying, hey, that was me. It's a big misunderstanding. I'm not the person you're looking for. So still at this point, that is the person of interest that police really want to talk to in this investigation. Now, I do want to talk about a couple new pieces of information that we did learn from these local news interviews that the chief of police in Columbus gave to media outlets in Ohio. Let's get you caught up, though, on where the investigation is, at least at this point. So up until the day that they were killed, Spencer and Monique Tepe, this is a couple that appeared to be living the lives that a lot of people dream of having. They're a young couple, young family. They're in a great home, a couple that was surrounded by people who love them. Their family has said that the Tepes, they loved having people over to their house. They were the kind of people who just loved bringing people together. This is their wedding video. It was shot in 2021 on what appears to be the steps of the home where they were found dead, this townhome in Ohio. Now, the couple had 2 kids. And those kids' ages 4 and 1 years old. Of course, in this story, there is no real good news because 2 people lost their lives. These 2 children lost their parents, but the children were unharmed when their parents were killed.
You know, he had grace to leave the kids, alive. You have to wonder why a doctor would throw his whole life away for what? And 8 years later, I mean, geez, how upset was he for that long? I wonder if there's some kind of like mental health thing going on too. Well, clearly, but like documented. He was a doctor.
The couple also had a dog. It's a golden doodle, and that dog was unharmed as well. And the children and the animal, they are now with Tepe family members as police continue this investigation. Now, Spencer had a great job. It was a job that he appears he really loved as well. He was a dentist, and he was working at an office in Athens, Ohio. And man, does it seem like he had a heck of a commute to the office, because that's roughly 75 miles from Columbus. His bio at his dental office says that he graduated from Ohio State in 2017. He had a doctor of dental surgery degree. He loved work, but outside of work, he loved the Ohio State Buckeyes. He loved the Cincinnati Bengals. That's where he grew up. And he also loved playing golf, traveling, and spending time with his family. Now, Spencer was married to Monique Tepe. There's an obituary that just went live. It's a joint obituary honoring both of them. And it reads that Monique grew up in Worthington, Ohio. That's a suburb north of Columbus. She grew up.
Yeah, I think he was obsessed and angry, and he wanted to have, I think, a big family. I think I heard that maybe it was at Quick TV that he wanted a big family and he didn't want the relationship to end. Maybe the ex believed he cheated with Spencer. Okay. Interesting. I wonder why that divorced after only a few months. He was hanging on to something. I agree, Sherry. Oof.
Playing soccer. She was a runner, and like her husband, she was a graduate of Ohio State, and that's where she earned her master's in early childhood education. And while she was in school, she worked at a daycare, and the obit reads that she was now a stay-at-home mom who is known for her bright smile, infectious laugh, caring heart, and bubbly personality. The obituary says that Spencer and Monique, they were the life of the party. The couple met online, then they get married in December 2020. It is just, as we've been covering this story, just so hard to comprehend how this could happen, because this was a couple. It just keeps sticking out to me just how loved this couple was for their generosity. They had this growing family, and they lose their lives like this. And you can also tell that so many people loved them just by the amount of 911 calls that were made out of concern when Spencer did not show up for work.
Columbus Police, Tech 107.
Yes, I would like to ask for a wellness check on an individual at their home.
So if you've been following this story with us, you know that these 911 calls that were made on December 30th, they started around 9 o'clock in the morning. And this is when Spencer didn't show up for work. The Columbus police chief did give an important piece of information, though, related to the response to these 911 calls. And we'll talk about that here in just a moment.
This individual, Spencer, works with me, and he did not show up to work this morning, and we cannot get a hold of him or his family.
He didn't show up to work?
Correct.
Okay. Does he have medical problems or?
No, and he's been reliable, and we cannot get in touch with him, his wife, his family, anybody that lives in that house.
I'm really wondering, they'll probably, obviously get like text messages and stuff. I thought I read that they didn't really have communication, but I'm wondering if maybe there was, or maybe something had happened that maybe set him off. Yeah, I agree with you, Lakeside, though. Lakeside makes a good point. And Shay, I agree with you as well. I guess insanity does not discriminate. And Lakeside said it's very difficult to move on when your ex dumps you and is living their best life and the life that you wanted with that person, right? Like he wanted to have kids with her and stuff, allegedly.
Okay. Um, so
There's
you're
2
in
kids in the
Florida.
home.
His dispatcher.
I'm in Florida. I own the business. I was informed by my employees that he was not at work, and he runs the office.
So the first call that came in was from Spencer's boss. He told the dispatcher that he was on vacation in Florida, and he started getting calls from Spencer's coworkers because Dr. Tepe didn't show up.
Have you guys received
That
anything else,
video.
like calls about him or like a car accident or anything like that?
No, sometimes people just don't show up to work. I mean, maybe he's sick. I don't know.
Now, as much as the dispatcher says, hey, it's common for people not to show up, maybe they overslept, maybe they're sick, Spencer's boss is just so adamant and concerned on this call that Spencer is just not the type of person who is a no-show at work and doesn't tell anyone.
I just know that he is the most, like, he is always on time, and he would contact us if there was any issues whatsoever. And I just don't know how else to say this. Like, we're very, very concerned because this is very out of character. And we can't get in touch with his wife, which is probably the more concerning thing.
About 20 minutes later at 9:22, an officer arrived on scene, but no one answered at the couple's home. Now, this is the part of the story where we just got some major context that we're about to talk about. Concerned friends of the Tepes then go to the couple's house, and they say that they heard the children of the Tepes inside the home. So this is around 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, what's the emergency there? Police or medical?
Maybe both, I guess. I don't know. I'm
It
kind of
looks
doing
like
the
we've already
wellness.
had a call out there. They knocked on the front door and back door multiple times, and there was no answer.
Yeah, no answer. I can hear kids inside, and I swear I think I heard one yell, but we can't get in. At this point, I don't know if I need to break the door in or just get in the house or what. So
Okay, were you out there when the police was out there?
I wasn't. I just got here about 5 minutes ago.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll send them back out to you.
Then you get another call from Spencer's work.
Our boss did not report to work. We haven't been able to get a hold of him for 3 hours. We are on site and we can hear.
Okay,
kids
I just
inside.
talked to somebody there.
Okay, I'm just making sure somebody called.
5 minutes later, there is another phone call. And this is the phone call where a friend says that they see Spencer Tepe's body.
We've got several calls on that. What's changed since the last person I talked to?
There's a body. There's a body.
There's a body inside?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
I know we talked about this dispatcher. We've talked about this in the first live. They're so very cold. The 911 call seems sus. The last friend had to be inside to see the bodies. Exactly. I don't think anybody would come for me like that. I'm sure, Sherry, someone would. Sometimes people just don't show up to work exactly because they wanted to get the kids. Star to Luck says, I'm so curious as to how her ex-husband would be able to get into her house with no forced entry. He must have had a key or known the code, whichever one. That blows my mind too. The getting inside. The whistling cop with no sense. Yeah, the baby's alone. A 1-year-old too. Hey Tim, good to see you. The friend didn't know if the intruder was still in the house and it's a crime scene. Yeah, they just get immune to it.
Let me get you on the line with the medic, okay? Stay on the line.
The baby.
Now, as the caller waits, you can hear what sounds like small children in the background. The Tepe's kids, again, these kids were unharmed.
There's a body. Our friend wasn't answering his phone. We just did a wellness check. We just came here, and he appears dead. There's blood. He's laying next to his bed, off of his bed, and there's blood. I can't get closer to see more than that. Okay, so you can tell he's obviously not breathing or anything? Yeah. Is it like kind of like
Puddle, like, you know, does he look like?
It doesn't look puddled. I can't look.
Okay. All right. I
Wow.
understand. Okay. And then when was the last time somebody spoke to him?
Like yesterday, I suppose.
Yesterday. Okay.
Yeah.
How old is he?
37.
37. Okay. Is he like a drug user or anything like that?
No.
Okay. All right. Just that's a really young age.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. All right. We're on our way.
Now that concerned
Yeah, Austin, you made a good point. It was true. I did see this. He watched the wedding video over for days and days. Yeah, someone did like an analysis over the analytics of the wedding video that I didn't play. I will link it in this description as well. Of them, and their anniversary had just passed. So in the analytics, it said that someone had viewed that wedding video like something many times. Like it was a whole bunch of times. He was obsessing over the video. So I wonder if that's obviously him. And then the anniversary had just passed. So he was probably just raging. Hey Lala, good to see you, Liv. He's probably just
friend
raging.
saw Spencer's body inside the home.
Caller saying they can hear kids inside. Thought he heard one of them yelling. Now we're getting another call saying there's a body inside. S3 can copy.
Yeah.
Who said there's a body inside?
When police went inside the home, they did find
Yes, he did watch it on YouTube. I believe it was another creator that I saw on their page. I can't remember who, but I saw the post like 100 times. That is crazy. He was also looking how the house was set up. Those babies will never know their parents. Oh, that's what gets me. I mean, it's heartbreaking that they lost their life, but Austin says allegedly the passcode was their anniversary date. Oh, wow. So if he just knew that, that's really psycho.
Spencer dead, as well as his wife. WSYX-TV says that Dr. Tepe was shot multiple times and Monique had at least one gunshot wound to the chest. Police have not said that they have a murder weapon. They do not believe that this is a murder-suicide. Police reportedly recovered a couple 9mm shell casings from the scene. Of course, that is key evidence. That could tell us a lot about the killer, not only as that evidence, but you also have to think if this was someone who knew how police would investigate this crime and how crime scene investigation works, why would they leave those shell casings behind? But I want to talk about what the police chief of Columbus said about that initial response to those 911 calls, because there's some important context here. Columbus Police Chief Elaine Bryant, it appears, gave one-on-one interviews to local media outlets in Ohio yesterday. We hear a lot.
I don't know if their anniversary was coming up or it had just passed. I can't remember in the affidavit. I think or the article. So you guys can correct me if I'm wrong.
Out to the chief to see if she would like to join us on our show as well. And she said in her interview, this is from 10 TV in Columbus, that they haven't identified a suspect at this point. And as far as the 911 calls, now when I heard that for the first time, where this dispatcher said an officer responded to the Tepe's home when it was just someone calling saying they were concerned because Dr. Tepe didn't show up, I found it a bit confusing as to how the officer didn't find anything, and yet the friend who calls and showed up a short time later ends up getting into the home and finding Spencer's body. But they talk about hearing the Tepe's children inside the house. And my question was, why didn't the officer hear any of that?
Am I home? There we go.
Now, the chief of police told local media in Columbus that this police officer went to the wrong address, and that is the body cam video that we at Law and Crime obtained on Friday. And in this video, you can hear the officer whistling. He walks up to the door, he knocks on the door of this home, and nobody answers. He checks out the property, and then he leaves. Now, the Columbus Dispatch is reporting that the house that he went to is on Summit Street, and that street runs parallel to the street where Spencer and Monique Tepe lived. Again, it would be about a half hour after this that the 911 caller would say that he found Spencer Tepe's body, and then police responded after that. And then certainly this story went to a completely different level. The chief...
You guys, the time of death, or allegedly, well, I don't know if it's allegedly anymore because it's in the affidavit, 3:52 a.m. So the babies were alone from 3:52 a.m. till the coworkers arrived. Wow. It's a 1-year-old baby.
Also told 10 TV that the 911 caller, the one that you hear, where he says he saw Spencer's body, he actually went inside the home and saw the body. So that means that this person had access to the Tepes' home. Now, the bodies of the Tepes were also reportedly found in a second floor bedroom. Now, to this,
I can't wait to get more information, more police documents. Elijah says she could have just let him in, not thinking it was going to happen. Yeah, I wonder if he would texted her or he just showed up, because if he, you know what I mean? And I wonder if there was something that happened with Spencer inside. Were they sleeping? I think they said he was found on the floor by the bed. I don't think that anyone would let him in the middle of the night. Doesn't seem normal to me. Yeah, that's why I wonder if he like texted and was like, It's an emergency. I need to talk to you or something, you know? I don't know. We're just hypothetically boggles my mind.
point, it is still unclear what the motive is for these murders. The chief said that police are still trying to track down surveillance video from people who maybe have it on their homes or
She
maybe a
goes to
business
the-
nearby, anything that could end up being a clue to crack this case. But they do say that the public has stepped up and has provided a lot of video, and detectives are combing through every single minute of that. Now, there is a police camera as well that is positioned near the Tepes' home. The chief was asked about that and whether that camera caught anything related to the case. The chief would not answer that question directly, just saying they're continuing to pour through countless tips and evidence and videos as they come in from the public. Now, the chief also addressed that 911 call that was made months earlier in her interview with the Columbus Dispatch, the newspaper. Now, this was the call. It ends up going viral. Fox News Digital puts it out, where it's this girl who is crying, and she's saying that she got into some sort of argument with her boyfriend, her husband. She says her man. Again, this was according to Fox News Digital.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I'm okay. Sorry.
We just listened, I think, to that call. I reckon he was hiding it in there. I didn't even think of that. How scary. Yeah, Patty, allegedly he was found in the bedroom. So, oh my gosh, he was hiding in there. I wonder if they had cameras. I don't know. Because if they had like ring cameras or something, it would notify them. Eh? Hmm.
Okay, well, it sounds like you're crying. Do you need police, paramedics, or anything?
No, I'm okay. I promise. I'm just emotional.
Oh, that's right.
Now-
He was walking. So he pulled a Koberger.
We have this audio as well, and it's reportedly this call made on April 15th at 2:45 in the morning. April 15th was a Tuesday, and the call is from this woman. She's emotional about having a dispute. Now, the woman you hear on the phone, she says that she and her man got into it, but she also says that she's okay, so police end up canceling the call to send an officer to the house. The dispatch says that that caller never gave her name either, so there's not really any information about who she is or where she went. But again, the chief said that the voice that you hear is not that of Monique Tepe. In fact, the call also may not have even been made from the Tepes' home, because the chief said in more densely populated areas with multiple cell phone towers, like the neighborhood that the Tepes live in, a call from a cell phone can actually be from within a 30-meter radius. So that call could have been made from somewhere around the Tepes' home, but not in the Tepes' home. Now, the chief also told the Columbus Dispatch that there is no history of calls from the Tepes' address or related to the Tepes. Now, the chief continues to urge patience in this investigation. She says that the department is being as transparent as they possibly can while they're continuing to maintain the integrity of the investigation. Joining us now is retired detective commander with the Chicago Police Department, Will Svilar. Always great to have you on Law and Crime, and you've been great in helping us understand this story as it's continued to unfold. Before we dive into what the chief had to say in these kind of one-on-one interviews it appears she gave to some of the local media outlets there, what is it like right now in the Detective Bureau in Columbus as the days go on?
You know, they're running out all these leads. They're based what I saw in that interview with the chief, they've got some leads. They're going in a specific direction on this. But as a detective, all you want to do is work on your case. You don't want all the distractions from the outside, and that's where your layer of supervision comes in. My job as a supervisor was to give my detectives all the tools they needed so they could do their job, and I'll handle all the other stuff. So they're doing their job, and I think the chief did a good thing by going, and the deputy chief did a good thing by going on TV.
Yeah, because I think you look at, there's just been some silence, and you want police spending more time investigating a crime and hopefully solving a crime than needing to answer questions from the media. But there's just been so much speculation, especially in the online space, with what potentially happened. There were two pieces of information, at least two to me, that stood out that she confirmed through some of the local media stations. It was Channel 10 that said that the Tepes were both found upstairs in a bedroom, so second floor, and that the 911 caller, when you listen to that call and the person who calls back and says there is a body here, that is someone who's actually inside the house. It was unclear before whether maybe they saw through a window or something like that, but they were actually able to go into the home. What does that tell you?
So obviously they know this person. Whoever went into their home knows this person well enough to either know where a key is or know the code to get into the house. So this is a pretty close friend. Now, I was a little confused when I listened to the 911 calls as well, because it sounded like one of the callers said, I hear babies crying, but I can't get in. Now, my question is that the same caller who says they're on the second floor invisible? Because that's kind of contradictory of what happened. If you're in there, you're in there. Are you taking the kids out, removing them from that? I mean, those things are a little up in the air for me, and I wasn't clear on it when I listened to the 911 calls.
Yeah, it was definitely part because I remember the first time I listened.
That is an interesting thing. Yeah, she must have realized he was a weirdo and divorced him. Some of you say that there's no way the alley guy is that guy. The McKee guy, the dog, and the dog would have barked too if someone was going in the house, maybe. I wonder how long he was planning this. It's definitely creepy. And I agree with you, Fighter. The 911 calls, they need to go out to every domestic call or sketchy call like that. That place was found where he was walking and it's towards the house. Yeah, the dog would most likely sniff him. Yeah, he was inside. You mean like hiding in the house? Allegedly, the video looks like a movie. He said he would kick the door in. The caller, the coworker.
Listen to the 911 call. Just even, it kind of goes into the part we'll talk about with the initial officer went to the wrong home apparently. But because you could hear the kids in the background of the call, and I wasn't sure if it was like they were on the door and then this 911 caller's on the outside. So there's still some questions as far as kind of just the layout, and we'll get the context eventually on all of this. Knowing that the Tepes were in their bedroom, because before when it was like no forced entry, it was like, did someone come to the house? They had some sort of conversation, and maybe they did, but now we're thinking, according to police, 2 and 5 in the morning in a bedroom upstairs. So potentially sleeping when this happened. The fact that she's upstairs as well, it seems they're both shot in the bedroom, but then there's that no forced entry part of it. I guess as you're piecing together the steps of what potentially happened, like how do those pieces of information kind of factor into what you're thinking?
I mean, the no forced entry is a huge part of it. The condition of the home is a huge part of it. The location of the bodies are all huge parts of it. And it would suggest the person had knowledge of, 1, how to get into the house. 2, what bedroom that the Tepes were in, possibly. So it kind of suggests that maybe this is somebody that knows the layout of the house at least, or certainly the code to get in, or they had some kind of relationship with the Tepes. That's what I think.
And, we have the biggest piece of information that we have at this point is that person of interest video, that person walking down the alleyway. They're not looking at the camera, maybe hiding their face from the camera. But police were pretty clear in the interview that the chief gave to the local media that they have tips. Like they have tips that have come in. Detectives are going through the video right now, trying to figure things out. And then part of me is like, and we don't know if they have more videos of this person of interest, but my question would be like, why not put out more of them if they actually do, if they have as much video as they say that they have? And maybe they don't have, I will say, like, maybe they just don't have any more video of the guy, but if they do, why would you withhold that information?
Good question. If they're withholding that information, there's a reason for it. It's not that they're trying to keep the public in the dark, but maybe they're trying to not tip who they're looking at. So again, to have just one piece of information like that, just one piece of someone walking down the alley behind the residence, it seems like there'd be more. There's cameras everywhere. There's, in the service that I have with my doorbell, Ring doorbell thing, there's a neighborhood app where if somebody walks down the street sideways, somebody's getting on, making a comment saying, hey, there's somebody walking down the street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's got to be more. There's got to be a reason why they're holding up that information. And she kind of alluded to that. She said, there are things we can't tell you. And that would be because it would compromise the investigation.
The other question that I think I would have, which is always one that comes out in news conferences, and maybe it was a strategic move just to kind of do a one-on-one with a journalist for a period of time, as opposed to opening it up. And then you have just people from all over the place in the media asking and shouting questions. The question of, I think the question is, like, is the community safe? Is always that question that puts, I think, law enforcement in a really tough position when you ask it as a member of the media, because the question is, do you know who this person is? Was this an isolated incident, or is this a Jack the Ripper situation where this is someone who is just out and about, and you should be afraid if you're Columbus, if you're in Columbus, Ohio, that someone's going to come in your door at night? I'm not trying to sound sensational when I say it, but the fact that they haven't said that that's the situation, also they haven't said that it's a targeted incident. What does that tell you?
Well, you're absolutely right about that. When you talk about, and again, we look back on some of the internet sleuths that are out there saying, hey, listen, there was somebody tried to break into a house, months or a couple of weeks before this, pounding on the door. Is this related? If you don't answer that question for the public, they're going to keep looking into stuff like that. Is there a 911 call from that house back in 2025? All this is speculation because people don't know. And the tightrope you have to walk as a supervisor in this situation, or when you're in law enforcement, is, what do we tell the public? How do we ease the public's mind? And by the way, if you think that there's somebody out there doing these things, you absolutely tell the public that. That's why I believe they've got some very definite leads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And certainly that's the hope now, a week into it. And then you also just feel like, I just keep going back to, like, these are all like new build homes. Everybody has, not everybody, but like a lot of those homes. And you could see like a neighbor, whoever took that video, it's a Nest camera. It appears from the video we've seen that the Tepes had a Ring doorbell camera, whatever the brand is, on the front. So you have to feel good. And then there's also the police video that the chief won't confirm whether or not that police camera was operating and captured anything as well. That 911 call, and people can find it online, the most recent one that came out, and it's this person who called police between 2 and 5 in the morning on, they say, just down the street. Fox News Digital had it. And it's this person calling saying that someone was banging on the back door. And then that person.
This 911 call, is the one I haven't played, but I also wonder what that was all about and if it's connected.
And goes away. I think Fox had said it was like a 3-minute walk from the Tepes house. We don't know if that's connected to anything related to this, but I also think in like a city, a 3-minute walk can change the type of neighborhood you're in, like, very quickly. And you're in Chicago. I mean, that's as dense a city as there is, along with New York. Like, how do you take these calls? Maybe it's the 911 call of the crying woman, but that may or may not have been at the Tepes house. Then there's this other call from this person saying someone's banging on their door that was in the area of the Tepes home. Like, how do you sift through that and know that this is actually connected? And then this is just, yes, it's a city, things happen.
Well, you do have to sift through it. And the thing is, you can have pet theories on why things happen, but as an investigator, you have to accept everything else that comes in. And again, this is legwork and it's detective work. You have to run every one of these things out. You have to look into that. Is it likely that someone's banging on doors, checking doors to see if they can go in and do a double murder? No, that's not likely. But you can't dismiss it without looking into it.
Mm-hmm.
So you got this whole big puzzle out on your table, right? You're trying to find the corners. You're trying to fill the puzzle in so you get to what the real story is. And you have to do all of it, or else you become myopic in what you're looking at, and you dismiss all these other theories that come in. It's probably not that. There's no way. But you can't do that. You have to look into it.
I wonder if those calls were actually connected, or maybe they weren't, and some creeper was just pounding on the neighbor's door. I don't know what that city's like. This is just so wild. He waited so long to do it. He must have stalked them. I wonder what made him snap initially. That's what I'm saying, is like, I wonder what made him snap. Talk about lingering feelings. Hey, ATS. By 7 years later, though, 5 years after they got married, blames the new guy. The new guy theory just doesn't fit. I know it was a long time. That's the thing. I wonder what set it off, if because that wedding video had to have been out for a while as well, right? So he had probably already watched it before and then he was obsessing over it that much
And on
longer
the note
after.
where, and this was one of the headlines that came out of the interviews that the chief gave, was that initial phone call where I think it's Spencer's boss says, "Hey, can you just go check out this address?" And the officer goes to the wrong address. And it's not a good look, but also if you believe that they were killed between 2 and 5 in the morning and it's a 20-minute difference, I mean, how big of a deal from the, optics aside, how big of a deal would that actually be to the investigation?
Yeah, as far as the investigation goes, I don't think you change what happened inside that house. But as far as the human aspect goes, you get those kids away from that scene a lot quicker. The kids had to sit in there a little bit longer until somebody went in and found them. So that's the damage in that. You're not going to change the fact that these people are dead. What you are going to change is the fact that these kids had to sit in there for a couple more. I don't know what the time frame is, but at least another period of time where maybe they didn't have to. And again, it happens. Sometimes you go to the wrong address. You don't take a lot of these calls. Check the well-being. You're going to do what he did what he was supposed to do. He went, he looked around, he looked in the yard, he knocked on the door. But that's like saying, listen, I really studied for this math test really hard. Unfortunately, it was a history test. So you did what you were supposed to do, but it was at the wrong place. So, I mean, it doesn't really change the outcome, but it does change the situation for the kids a little bit.
I haven't done that.
Yeah, it was definitely, I think you read the headline. It was like, oh, that's not good, but it's also just not, it's with the timeline. It wasn't as if.
Yeah, Evie says no one heard the gunshots. Well, on that probable cause affidavit, it says 3:52 a.m. So I'm thinking the investigation, maybe someone did hear something. How did they get that very 3:52 specific time? There's a lot missing here that we don't have yet. I'm sure another whatever document will come out and we'll know more on Monday when he has this hearing. Absolutely.
It seemed like it had happened, sadly, within the period of time that the officer showed up, that it was something at this point that is believed to have happened overnight. I keep coming back to the shell casings. I know I've asked you about this before, that those were collected on the scene. And I mean, how often is it? I forget if I've asked you this already. How often is it that someone who commits a crime like this would cover their tracks by picking up shell casings? Does that tell you anything about the type of person who would do this, that those would actually be left behind?
Well, yes. I mean, I have run into numerous murders where people don't stick.
Good theory. I was saying if he used the passcode, I wonder if it can tell you a time he was put in. Yeah. If he was watching videos, it probably means he couldn't move on and hated seeing her happy with another man. They must have audio of the shots from the cams in the area. Also good.
Around long enough to pick up their shell
True.
casings.
Good theory.
If you got a situation where there's shell casings that were removed from the scene, that's someone who knew what they were doing. And that's a totally different thing than a random stranger. That's planned out. And that's executed in a certain way. But most of the time, 99% of the time, the casings are left on the scene because it's something that happens quick and they want to get out of there.
It also seems with the person of interest video, because there is the chance that this was just somebody who maybe they worked the night shift. Maybe they were at a bar and the bar closed. And like the reason that they have that kind of interesting gait, lethargic walk, I think, as they're going down the alley is like they were leaving a bar. But here we are a couple days later, everybody in the country, I feel like, has seen that video. And if that was a person who it's like, oh my gosh, I live down the street. I was just coming back from my friend's house. I did not do this. You would think that person would come forward to police. And as of the interviews yesterday from police, they still believe that this is a person of interest they want to talk to. What do you read into that part of it, that this still very much seems to be someone that police have not made contact with?
A couple of things. One, you as a police officer or an investigator in this, you have to find out who that is. You have to do what you can to talk to that person because you have to talk to that person. Secondly, if you are that person and you had nothing to do with it, I know a lot of the general public want no part of any type of massive investigation. I don't want to be dragged into a police station for 48 hours. I had nothing to do with it. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. And I think, you see that a lot more than you'd like to.
Yeah. And we'll see, what happens next. More than a week at this point. A lot of people looking for answers, but to your point, Will, I really hope police have some leads that they're following. I know they're following leads, but that they're really starting to piece this thing together, and we'll see what happens next. Retired Detective Commander Will Svilar with the Chicago Police Department. Thank you.
That's yeah, there's a lot of unanswered questions, but I know we'll get more answers. Their funeral is tomorrow, I believe, and then he has a hearing on Monday. So we're definitely gonna be streaming that if it's public, which I hope Law and Crime has it. The last few months, yeah, has been crazy. I think he's walking like that because it's also icy. I don't, that's the thing, ATS, we don't know yet. So they might say that tomorrow if there's a press conference or I'm sorry, Monday when he has a hearing. Is he the guy on the CCTV? We don't know. We don't know. Yeah, brutal. Brutal. But at least they caught the person, right? And RIP to Monique and Spencer. And, you know, my heart breaks for those little babies. So, like I said, we're only assuming, yes, we're only assuming allegedly. Please, in the comments, just be easy on us because sometimes people don't like that. PCA has to wait until he's back in the state. Yeah, he has to be extradited. So I think the hearing on Monday would probably be like an extradition hearing, maybe. Hey, Ruth. So I'll definitely keep you guys updated on the case. We will stay on it. Sad stuff. Very sad stuff. I hope like the crime of passion thing, you know? I can't wait to get more documents, court documents and whatnot. Maybe we can get some answer to like the text messages or how they found the 3:52 time. If you missed the beginning of the live, please replay. I did go through the 2-page probable cause affidavit. So like I said, we will continue. Yeah, why does Schmitter even happen? I know. But hey, the kids, at least he left them alive. So make sure you hit the like button. I'll definitely keep you posted on this. I guess we'll probably get more updates on Monday. I thought maybe a press conference today or something, but again, we'll probably have to wait till Monday. RIP to them. Sending my heart out to all the family and friends and coworkers. This must, you know, be really tragic for all of them. And shout out to you guys for hanging out in the chat and being here. Please hit the like button on your way out. We do have a 𝐼𝐸𝐧 live planned here right after this. Humans are evil. Can be. I agree. Definitely make sure you hit the like button. And like I said, we do have a 𝐼𝐸𝐧 live today and I will be streaming tomorrow. So I will see you then. Thank you so much for being here. And I will see you on the next one.